So today, we're diving into one of the most mind-bogglingly complex searches in all of human history, finding one tiny life-saving molecule in a sea of basically infinite possibilities. And we're going to look at how a new kind of technology, generative AI, is becoming a powerful new compass for that incredible search. Let's start by just trying to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this challenge. Okay, to really get this, you have to think about scale. The number of possible small molecules that could, in theory, be a drug, well, it's so massive that scientists just kind of throw up their hands and call it basically infinite-ish. We're talking about a number that's estimated to be bigger than the number of atoms in the known universe. Yeah, that big. And that leads us to the big question, right? How on earth do you even start to look for something in a space that vast? You could spend a million lifetimes just testing the chemicals you think might work, and you'd barely, and I mean barely, scratch the surface. It's the ultimate needle in a haystack problem, except this haystack is the size of a galaxy. This has been the fundamental problem for drug discovery for, well, forever. And this is where generative AI enters the picture. It doesn't just give us a faster way to search, it completely rewrites the playbook. So how does it change the game? Well, it starts by changing the way we come up with ideas in the very first place. So what is generative AI in this world? Simply put, it's a tool that doesn't just find things, it creates them. It can dream up brand new molecules from scratch, design novel protein structures, and even generate scientific hypotheses that you can actually go and test. It's not just a better searchlight, it's an idea engine. And this right here shows the huge shift in strategy. You see, the old way was totally limited by human imagination and whatever chemicals you happen to have on a shelf. The new way? It uses AI to just blow the doors off the number of ideas you can start with. We're moving from a pretty constrained search to this massive AI-powered exploration. And this is a really, really crucial point. Generative AI is not here to replace the lab. No way. The goal is to use this incredible power to prioritize. It helps research teams focus their limited time, their money, and their energy on the most promising ideas, which makes the whole scientific process way more efficient. Okay, so that's the big picture. But how does this actually work day to day, in a real-world lab? Where does this powerful new tool fit into the process of discovering a drug? So let's follow the journey and see exactly where AI plugs in. The main thing to get is that this isn't just one tool for one specific job. Generative AI is making an impact across almost every single stage of the discovery pipeline. I mean, from the very beginning, just figuring out what disease to go after, all the way to the end, suggesting how you can actually make the final molecule in a lab. It's a whole toolkit that gets woven into the entire process. And it's not a one-size-fits-all deal, either. Different teams use totally different tools. A medicinal chemist might use what's called a de novo generator, which literally means from scratch to brainstorm completely new molecules. A process chemist might use a retrosynthesis planner to figure out the cheapest, fastest way to actually build that molecule. And a literature assistant? Well, that's a lifesaver for everyone trying to keep up with the thousands of research papers published every month. So let's just walk through a typical workflow. It all starts with human expertise. Scientists lay down the rules, the constraints. Then the AI gets to work, generating thousands, even millions of new ideas. Those ideas are then automatically filtered for any obvious deal breakers, like being toxic. And then, this is key, it comes back to a human expert, a seasoned chemist, who makes the final call on which handful of candidates are actually worth making in the lab. But, and this is a big but, with all this power comes some pretty serious risk. This is not a magic box you can just blindly trust. Using generative AI the right way means building strong human guardrails around it. Because a power tool doesn't just help you build faster, it helps you make really big mistakes much, much faster too. I absolutely love this analogy. It just perfectly captures what these tools are like. They're incredibly powerful, they never get tired, and they can spit out ideas at a blistering pace. But they have no judgment, no experience, no real understanding of why something that looks great on a computer screen is a complete disaster in the real world. They need adult supervision. And these risks are very real. The AI can literally hallucinate a biological explanation that sounds totally plausible, but is completely false. It can accidentally create a molecule that's way too close to a competitor's patent. Or it can get obsessed with chasing a high score that doesn't actually mean anything in a real experiment.
you absolutely have to manage these risks.
This one just brilliantly illustrates the problem of what some people call confident nonsense. The AI might propose a chemical recipe that looks perfect. It's fast, it's elegant, but a human chemist will look at it and go, whoa, that step is incredibly dangerous, or that will just never work. But the AI, just like a broken GPS, will confidently insist that its impossible route is the absolute best way to go. It doesn't know it's telling you to drive into a lake.
So, with all these warnings and all these risks, what's the real big picture impact here? When you zoom out, what is the ultimate role of generative AI in science?
And this right here is probably the most important thing to take away from all this. The goal is not automation for the sake of automation, it's augmentation. The true power of AI here is to expand the bandwidth of human scientists, to free them up from tedious work so they can focus on what people do best. So what does that actually look like? Well, it means a single team can explore way more ideas in the same amount of time. It means they can propose and test more creative drug candidates. And maybe most importantly, it frees up the brilliant minds of scientists to focus on high-level strategy, on interpreting tricky results, and on asking the next big, game-changing question. At the end of the day, generative AI is here, and it's not going anywhere. It's a truly transformative power tool for science. So the critical question isn't if we're going to use it. The real question is how wisely we're going to build the workshop around it, the rules, the guardrails, the human oversight, because that is what will decide whether we use this rocket engine to discover new frontiers or to just crash into a wall only faster.